what's up? It's time for more Cowboy Bebop. This is episode 13. I'm really excited because last episode was part 1 of Jupiter Jazz. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Jupiter Jazz is what they're calling this set of episodes. Vicious returned. I actually wanted to recap myself, so I looked at I rewatched bits of the previous episode, and I also read a summary of what happened in the previous episode just to remind myself, because this is the first time in the show that they've had a 2-part thing, and normally when I sit down for Cowboy Bebop, I don't even really think about what happened last episode because it doesn't tend to matter that much other than who joins our crew. But this one, it was oh no, this feels like this matters. And I also feel like Cowboy Bebop, despite being a show that tends to focus a lot on the episodic structure, when it does get into story stuff, I feel like it's deep enough and complex enough that I could genuinely get lost if I'm not paying proper attention. So I'm gonna try to properly pay attention. But last episode was pretty awesome, and it was a good setup for whatever's gonna happen here. I remember it ended with Spike being shot. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Let's jump into the episode. Make sure to support the video if you can, liking the video, commenting down below, subscribing to the channel. I'm a small channel, so all of that stuff helps me out a lot. And go to my Patreon account, which is in the description below, if you want the full-length reactions and early access. You can get episode 14 in full-length version on my Patreon account right now. Go check that out. But otherwise, I think we're ready to do this. Cowboy Bebop episode 13.
You're not. I'm gonna go look for my.
Oh, it's
you can go look.
It's
for the other
recapping it. Interesting, but a good idea because I would have needed this if I didn't read the summary.
Julia behind my back. Lynn.
Jupiter Jazz Part 2. I'm looking forward to this.
But I'm attracted to that word. To the point of tears.
Oh, you've got a really cool voice.
We were all...
You're gonna play cards in the wind like that? They're gonna fly away.
You mind if I play that tune on my sax when I get back home?
I mean, shouldn't bother him. Do whatever you want with your sax. Oh. He's just giving it to you? Oh! Jesus. Oh, Jesus. That's pretty fucking badass. Cut a scorpion in half.
They put me in prison. They thought I was a spy.
Really?
I heard it was Vicious that testified against. I started to go crazy.
Testified against you?
So they got out of balance, and this is what happened. Since I came
Interesting.
here, there's been...
Didn't you say he framed you?
I want to find out if he did.
He'll murder you.
You need the truth.
Death does not frighten me. Maybe I wanted to be with someone. I don't know.
And then you go off to die.
I guess so. Oh, Jesus! She legitimately shot at him.
Are you sure it was this woman?
Oh,
That photo.
Julia used to sit in that same seat.
Julia?
About 2 months later, she disappeared.
Yeah, what kind of girl was
So
she?
Julia from 2 years ago.
That woman.
Women are all liars. You should know that.
Man, they show us just
When this is over,
flashes
I'm
of
getting
these
out
stories.
all of it.
Jeez, man. It's like they did a quick recap of episode 5? Was that which one that was?
I'm not dead. How about that?
He was still fucking shot though. I'd be freaking out if there was a crow standing on my chest. Jesus Christ, that would scare the shit out of me.
Thanks a bunch, pal.
Birds vaguely scare me sometimes.
They're mocking me.
Ah, tranquilizer gun.
Anything to do with foreigners ever again.
I'm
Oh,
just asking
dad.
for directions.
Job somewhere.
By asking this guy for directions, you just turned his life around. What the fuck? What happened?
Blue apartment building.
That's what I was thinking. I thought like the building in front of him looks blue. Oh, there's Faye. The music is so cool.
What? Catch him yourself.
Oh, these two are
Guy from
still
the group you're after.
fighting.
Named Julia.
Let you back on.
Oh. I think that's his way of trying to make up with you. He's like trying to meet you halfway, in a way.
Personally.
Joking, right?
Were you just testing us or what?
Oh.
Why'd you come after me?
I want
Maybe
my
she
money
was
back.
subconsciously.
Ship's safe.
Yeah, you got some kind of hold on Spike. That's
It's a
all I can
woman
tell
he
you.
really cares about. Oh man, this is the fucking vibe is so cool of this. The Adventures of Iron and Ed again. Yep. Oh, is that how you check
It's real.
the purity? Yeah, okay.
You saved me from that scorpion, and yet you lied and sold me down the river.
Here we go. Get the truth. Oh! Holy shit! Oh, we survived it. Lynn's looking a little worse for wear.
Get open and look inside. Why would I?
Oh?
So you found the solar transmitter.
Solar transmitter.
Up to you. I believed in you.
So why were you a fucking dick, bro? You're talking to Vicious. Oh, don't kill Lynn. Lynn's a good guy. No! See, Vicious is a bit of a dick, but Lynn's just a sweetheart in his own way. Oh, shit.
Died protecting you.
Lynn, yeah, so Lynn's just dead? Oh my god.
You're in the way.
Oh shit. Oh! Ooh. Nice. Saved him. Because that would have pretty much definitely killed him. Oh! That was accurate! Holy shit! That's gotta be so difficult to do. Oh. Oh my god! I love like a peaceful tune, being the bomb, you know? It's like a Jack in the Box. As soon as the song's finished, it'll pop out. Except the pop out is an explosion. Oh, don't die. Oh, he's gonna die.
Got an internal line on my way there would be a good way to go.
Oh.
I want to go back one last
There's so much death in this series. I mean, it's not in a great condition to get off the ground, I don't think.
Juliet was always talking about you.
Oh.
Your eyes are different.
Shit, man. That's depressing. Really not many answers there either. I mean, just talked about where Julia was, but not any hints on where she is. Alright, yeah, so you just like brought him to space and then released him. This music is so interesting. It reminds me of one of the Attack on Titan EDs.
Nothing.
Yeah, he didn't get Gren.
Hurry up and get inside. We're taking off.
Oh.
Oh, I'll tell you about
What are you doing with that nail polish?
It's all right.
Oh,
Oh, that's what. I thought Ed was gonna be like eating the nail polish. I wouldn't put it past her. Oh, cool. Oh, this is cool. It's just giving us like legit credits with this awesome song in the background and this scrolling image. Oh, this is awesome. Do you have a comrade? Oh, that was a magnificent episode. Like that, I think that episode has made me understand that this show was special. It was a very special show. I have really enjoyed the show up until this point, and then like the previous Vicious episode I did think was like really cool, but I think like what sort of struck me about that episode originally was like, and I'm talking about episode 5 or whatever the episode was that originally had Vicious in it. I really liked it, but I was also like, but this is still like an episodic episode. Like it was an episodic episode based more around Spike, but I felt like, you know, it just gave me that feeling of like, I'm just, you know, dipping my toe into this story. We get like a small snapshot of it and then we leave. But this was a real, you know, they really brought out like bits from the Vicious episode originally, and then from part 1 of Jupiter Jazz and part 2. Like there was a lot more story they were building off of, and I liked the way it all interacted with each other. Not even to tell like necessarily a majorly complex story. I mean, the funny thing about Cowboy Bebop is it generally always like leads to a pretty simple confrontation that quote unquote concludes things. Like the confrontation at the end, they got in their ships, they were shooting at each other for a bit, and then like the bomb that he left in there exploded. I mean, that was all the confrontation really was, but that doesn't really matter, you know, because the way they execute these stories works so well. And I loved the music in this show is just phenomenal, so incredibly good. And the vibe of this show, I mean, this English dub as well is like masterful. It's really, really good because it's strange. It's so low key and like understated, but it matches the vibe of the show so well that like I don't know that I would be able to enjoy this show in subbed version, because like this just feels like this is the show, and all of this matches the vibe so incredibly well. I was very impressed in this episode with Gren's voice actor. I feel like at the start of the episode, especially some of the things he was saying and the way he was delivering his lines, it was just so calm and understated and relaxed, but it worked so nicely with the animation. I really enjoyed this episode quite a lot. And the credits, man, like that music over the credits, and the credits just being this scrolling thing of looking through space, and like that coming after they did like a bookend of like at the start of episode 12 or whatever, they had that thing about the tear of a warrior or whatever in space, and then they bookend it with that same scene. It's really beautiful and artistic and works so well. So I'm really, really impressed by this 2-part episode. But my favorite part of the episode, honestly, and this is coming from like someone who, you know, I only talked in vague terms about the music and about the atmosphere and all that, because that's not really my specialty. My specialty is characters. And the thing that I really care about is that Spike and Jet relationship that they were just like playing with very loosely in this episode. But I think it's nice to see how they fight in a way. Like last episode, they have this argument where like they don't listen to each other. They don't, especially Spike. Spike doesn't listen to anyone. And like they have their like disagreement, and they're ready to just like completely go their separate ways. But I think Jet is a little more like emotional and connected to Spike, and they went their separate ways, and then Jet like gives him a little bit of help and stuff, but then also throws in that if you catch Gren and bring him back, I'll let you back on the ship, which I think is his way of saying like, look, I want to mend this between us. But he's almost doing it in a way like he could just say like, look, I'm sorry, let's like, can you come back? But that's not how they work. That's not how they communicate. They have like a sort of bond and understanding where it's almost like Jet said that not just because, oh, like bring him back so we can get the bounty or whatever. And it's not just come back to the ship, but rather there's like, my interpretation of it is he's giving Spike an excuse to be allowed to come back to the ship with his honor intact, you know, like with his pride, with his like masculine pride of like, I don't want to come crawling back to the ship after we had that fight. That's the biggest thing I think when people have fights like that, is you feel like you both want to, you know, you don't want to follow through on that not being together anymore, but you also don't want to admit you're wrong, and you feel like if you come back to that person, you're basically like admitting that you were the wrong one in that circumstance, and you don't want to do that. So a lot of times, you know, your own pride will stop you from doing that. If Jet had said, just come back to the ship, then Spike might not have come back because like he's not, like there's no pride to that. There's no achievement that was made. He's actually just coming crawling back, you know, he's just listening to what Jet told him to do. But if he phrases it as like, if you bring Gren back, then I'll let you back on the ship, then at least Spike's coming back with like, he's proving his worth in that situation. So Spike might be more inclined to do it because it's like, look, I caught the guy, you can't do this without me, so here I am, like at your request, because you need me. That would make him feel more useful and feel more part of the ship. That's my interpretation of why those characters did that. So at the end of the episode, when Spike flies up to the ship and Jet goes, what do you have with you? And Spike goes, nothing. And Jet goes, get in, we're leaving. Like it was almost like you came back empty-handed, which means you came back, you know, despite the fact that this hurts your pride, which means that, like, I think he can see, you know, wordlessly, he can see that Spike legitimately just wants to come back and, like, no matter what, which I think is, like, is very sweet and very nice. But also, there's that unspoken thing of, I didn't bring Gren back, so the reason I must not have brought him back is for a reason like he died and I don't want to talk about it or something. And again, Jet understands this wordlessly. I think it's really, really nice. Like, just with a few lines in this episode, like just like 3 or 4 lines, I can interpret a lot about their characters. Whether or not that's your interpretation of the characters, I don't know. But for me, that's how I see these characters, and I think it's a really fun character dynamic. It's adorable. I love them. I love them so much. Yeah, anyway. Oh, and Lynn died this episode as well. That was very sad. I really did like Lynn. Again, a character with so few lines or whatever. But this show is really good at making characters memorable without making them over the top and without making them prevalent necessarily, you know? Like, they're really good at just having a few lines or one line or whatever, and you feel like you understand their motivation and they feel different and they feel interesting. And the lines could be as simple as like Lynn talking about honor and not betraying people or whatever, or it could be as simple as like the guy that just goes, seems that way in like episode 2 or whatever, right? Where it's like, this character is memorable just because he says one line over and over again, and we just, you know, like, we remember this random driver. So it's like, there's so many characters in this show that they find a way to get them to stick in your head. It's great. It's great. Great episode. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure to support the video if you can, liking, commenting, and subscribing. And go to my Patreon account for the full-length reaction and early access. You can get next week's video on there right now. And go to my One Piece channel if you like One Piece. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.